Moving on to other news now. Can artificial intelligence-based outcomes come from faulty data sets, poorly designed algorithms, or ineffective execution? Or can rather those missteps be sole responsibility of humans involved? According to experts, to blame artificial intelligence is to misunderstand its nature. Artificial intelligence does what it's told to do. If there are errors with the results or they don't match expectations, it's because somewhere along the chain, the artificial intelligence has been instructed to do the wrong thing. So should businesses resist the urge to turn to artificial intelligence for its sake, or could that prove costly? Let's hear what Dr. Nasila has to say about that. And of course, he's the Chief Analytics Officer at FNB. Thank you very much for coming, sir.
Thank you very much for having me, and to the viewers for joining us.
All right. I'd like us to start with the definition of terms to remind our viewers of this subject that so many people find very foreign to discuss. Number one, when we talk about artificial intelligence, what do we exactly mean?
So, artificial intelligence is a field in computer science that deals with developing systems or computer processes that would help execute functions that require human intelligence. So some of these functions might be interpretation of speech, translation, decision making, but the key part is executing human intelligence.
So when people explain it concerning systems being able to communicate with each other within a workplace or a manufacturing space, or even when you are airborne and so forth. When we're talking about these systems being able to communicate and being programmed to do so, is there a propensity for error in terms of the way the workflow has to continue?
So this communication obviously mimics what human beings would have done. The propensity for error can be high depending on the value chain of how these systems were created. But these errors, which we normally call biases, most of the time can really be deceptive. Most of the time we can easily measure them at the outcome level, but they're very complex. But having said that, we do not want to discourage businesses and investors from investing in these initiatives, because we know the outcomes of these investments will make businesses and the world a better place.
So when you talk about data-related bias, you just simply mean mistakes in the field of computer science? Is that the jargon used?
So data-related bias are biases that result around inconsistencies or incompleteness of information that is being used to train these machines. There are various examples. For example, if you use information that is not representative of the population you're training the systems for, the system might be efficient for part of the population and not the rest. It might also make decisions based on what the information represents.
So now, when it comes to business embracing artificial intelligence, firstly, what are the questions that the companies should ask before they can get the software that has been formed? Let's say, for example, will it be internally developed or will it be off the shelf?
Thank you. So those are some of the questions that form part of the strategic initiatives to making sure that the type of artificial intelligence or technological investment are made properly. And this involves deciding whether to build this type of capabilities within the organization, or deciding to actually leverage this capability from outside companies. The key drivers of these considerations include whether you have the right skills to run this type of technologies, but also, do you really need these technologies? Because we're at a time where there is a hype around technology, the fourth industrial revolution, and machine learning. So you have to assess that you have the right business case that benefits not just business, but also the users, customers, society, to making sure that there's a proper business case to investing in these capabilities.
What is the state of the rollout of artificial intelligence in South Africa? Because if we have been talking about automation all along, has there been a transition, and are there companies that are already into the space of artificial intelligence?
Yes, so we've seen in South Africa alone, the latest survey, we've seen over $1.6 billion of investment by businesses and government in these initiatives. The financial institutions are doing now well in using these initiatives to making sure that they're designing appropriate products for customers, personalizing products. We've seen a lot of chatbots now in the market where that are being used to help with savvy engagement, digital engagement with customers. For example, First National Bank, we're using these algorithms to make sure we design products, we protect our customers, because these algorithms enable the whole organization function much better, much more efficient, equipping our staff members to do much better. But at the same time, if you look at some of the social issues we're talking about, like education, where technologies like virtual reality are providing an alternative to making sure that this quality education is distributed across the country. We've seen the health areas are now employing robots to assist doctors in performing complex operations and so forth. The energy crisis calls for us now to resort and think about in employing these technologies to making sure that we create a better future.
And then the issue of jobs, you know very well that many people aren't happy, unions are not happy about when you do artificial intelligence induced programs, you have to get rid of staff, and that is not good news.
No, definitely, but with what we've seen in the market, the real application of artificial intelligence has actually created a new set of jobs. When you look at surveys done, we do admit that over time there's certain jobs that may be redundant, that may not be useful in an organization. But every time there's been a revolution, a transition like this through technology, we've seen new sets of jobs being created. It still remains the responsibility of the organizations to put this in the roadmap and involve everyone involved in an organization through reskilling, retraining, equipping them with knowledge around how technologies can be used to create efficiencies, to build proper propositions to make sure that organizations sustain themselves in the future.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for making time.
All right. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay. Thanks. Dr. Nasila is, of course, the Chief Analytics Officer at FNB.